So it looks like these city council meetings are a good source of getting the tea about what's going on the ground across the country in some of these small towns like Springfield, Ohio. In the last video that I uploaded, where the citizens were complaining about the Haitian immigrants eating from the local pond. Um, Trump mentioned it in the debate last week, and the refutation and the spin machine has gone absolutely crazy ever since then. Um, not so sure why they're pushing back so hard on these stories when um, they're cropping up over the last few years all across the country. These types of stories, and it's not just about the Haitian immigrants. I hear stories about the Venezuelan immigrants. I hear stories about the Ukrainian immigrants. Um, they've been coming in from all four corners of the globe. So this is not even, about Haitian. So it's not even really for this video about what side of the debate you come down on as it relates to, immigration. What this is citizens not being allowed, um, a constitutional right, freedom of speech, um, to express their concerns at a public, forum in the city council meeting. You'll see what I mean. So let's go ahead and get into this clip here.
I have a couple of questions about the legal immigrants that we have come to our city. I would like to know how they were vetted, and I got a couple of questions about that. How they were vetted. Was everyone vetted? Where were they located? It's said that they have work visas, but the work visas show that the company that they work for is not it's not a factory that we have here. So that's one of my concerns. Who is heading up, watching over this situation? What information can you give me about this situation? I'm just concerned.
And these seem to be some reasonable questions. She's polite, well spoken. So let's see what happens here.
So unfortunately, Sharon, we don't have any information to provide to you. We don't have any information. We just don't have any information on it. And so, and I don't want to speak on something and misinform people, and I don't want to say the wrong thing. But as of right now, we don't have any information. We just know that they are here living.
And the only thing I can add to that concern of yours and a lot of people's is that, this is above us. We found out when everybody found out that.
I find that hard to believe that the city council president, and I can't recall her name, that they don't have any information whatsoever. That's just hard to
They
believe.
showed up the first time I saw them. They came to our church and wanted to come to Sunday school and church with us, and that's the first time I knew they were in town. And there was 3, then 6, and 8, and they're the ones at church with me are great people. They want to come into church, haven't asked for a thing, and worship and go home. That's the only interaction I've had with them. I know there's more than that here in town, but
Yeah, I'm sure there's more than 3, 6, or 8. I need to do a quick fact check to see how many Haitian immigrants are in Sylacauga, because they say that the uh, Haitian immigrant population in Springfield over the last 3 years is grown by 20,000. So, and that's keeping it conservative.
the only things we know is they're here. We can't, that they're, I wouldn't say a private citizen, but they're coming in uh, just as you would go into another town and buy a house and live there. They're doing the same thing. We can't ask them or watch them like
No.
a specific criminal or anything if they haven't committed a criminal act. So
Well, if if they've crossed the border illegally, that's criminal act number one. Um, so this gentleman is basically saying that we get to treat illegal aliens as if I beg to differ.
We know they're here, we hope that they can provide to our economy and do things that help Silicata, but as far as knowing how they got here or what their deal is, we're left out of the loop just as you. That goes way high up, and if you haven't noticed, even some of our state representatives have reached out to their DC representatives like Ben Robbins and asking for help and reasoning of why they're here, so that they don't even know at the state level.
But there's no reason for us to wonder why or to investigate. No crime has been committed. I mean, they're here working, like Action said, they're, adding to the economy, so.
And you can just tell that this woman here, the city council president, she doesn't want to hear any of it. She doesn't want to answer any questions. She's about triggered. I'm highly agitated. Just like this video and subscribe to the channel. And if you're a returning viewer, thanks for tapping in.
And federal leaders to try to get more information. And everybody's kind of in the same boat. I've also reached out to other leaders across the state to see, to seek information as well.
And my question is, if they're being bused in here, brought in here by vans, how come the city knows nothing about it?
We don't know anything about that, Ms. Easton. That's just, we've seen this stuff on Facebook and social media just like you have. We have no knowledge of that.
Why haven't you reached out to find out?
Ms. Easton, with all due respect,
You can.
I'm gonna ask this and with all due respect, has anybody seen anybody being busted here? Has anybody seen any bus coming here dropping people off?
I had someone that told me that's.
I know, but it's hearsay. But that's the thing. People are posting stuff on social media and people are saying things that they don't know anything
I
about.
realize it's
Yeah,
social.
nobody has.
So wait a minute. So if nobody's seen them being busted, does that mean that they're not there? Obviously, they're there and they're being seen. So these people have questions.
Seen
They need
any
some
of those
answers.
things happen.
I realize
Yeah.
that.
No crime has been.
I mean, how would you feel if this were you and you were going down to your local city hall or your local city council meeting and you had some concerns, whether it be about local speed bumps in the neighborhood, whatever it might be, would you like to be treated like this if you're a tax-paying citizen and you're here to I don't think you would. And that's the whole in this video. Where are we headed with this? It's not looking good.
But I also went by where they're living, some of them, and they're just sitting around outside, they're not working.
But what's wrong with that though, Ms. Deason? What's wrong with them sitting outside where they're paying your rent?
In the middle of the day, they would be working if they came here to
But
work.
we can go anywhere, Ms. Deason, and see people sitting on their porch not working.
They supposedly came here to work.
I worked night shift for a while. I mean,
If they're not working, how are they paying rent? Who's paying their
And
rent?
I wasn't gonna comment on this, but I am now, because I feel like I need to. I want to welcome anybody to Silicata that wants to come to Silicata. Anybody that's here that's paying lodging, buying gas, buying food, paying rent, utilities, whatever, we want to welcome them here. Because if you're here spending money, whether you're working or even if you're not working, you have to be here spending money. So on behalf of Tiffany, Councilmember Nix, I want to welcome you, because if you're here
All money
spending
ain't good
our
money.
economy, thank you. That's how I feel about it. And if people aren't breaking the law, they're not causing any problems, I don't see what the issue is, and that's just how I feel. I can only say how I feel.
I have to say, the attitude of the council with reference to this is entirely unacceptable. Do we know where the individuals we're discussing are coming from? Where their point of origin is? Because you're treating them like lawful U.S. citizens, which they are not.
Okay, so I'm gonna cut it off because we've had 3 people to come up. I'm gonna cut it off because we have no reason again, we have no reason to launch an investigation or to treat people differently because of how they look. There's no reason.
Uh-huh.
Who said that?
Well, that's just what I'm saying. I just said that. Tiffany just said that.
Okay,
So
I didn't say that.
but I said it. But there's no reason for us to discuss this any further.
These individuals came from Haiti.
Or valid concerns that we need to
How are
hear.
valid concerns, Laura? People come here all the time. We
These
visit
people came here
Birmingham.
from
We
Haiti.
visit
Haiti is a failed state.
We
Their
visit
president
everywhere.
was assassinated in 2021.
We're
There is
done.
no way the State Department can
We're-
vet these
We're
individuals.
done, and I'm gonna
Let
access
him
this.
talk. Please let him talk.
You
You
had
shut
said
up
I
and
was
let
very
people
specific. Okay, I'm gonna ask all of you to leave because this meeting is over.
That's wild. That's really wild to me. I don't know where we're headed with this. If I go down to my local city council meeting in the town where I pay taxes, and I don't care what the issue might be, and I get treated like this, I'm going to definitely have an issue. I mean, kudos to those three people, for keeping their cool and not causing a scene because, woo, Shorty was rough. And I want to show a quick clip of that last gentleman who spoke. Of course, he's making the rounds in the mainstream media, particularly on Fox News. You won't see him on CNN, that's for sure, because the mainstream media or the liberal media is definitely suppressing these stories. Anything that's going to shed a negative and truthful light on this immigrant invasion. So let me get that pulled up.
An Alabama City Council meeting was shut down after residents voiced their concerns over a recent influx of Haitian migrants.
There is no way the State Department can vet these
We're
individuals.
done, and I'm gonna
Let
access
him
this.
talk. Please let him talk.
You had
shut
said
up
I
and
was
let
very
people
specific. Okay, I'm gonna ask all of you to leave because this meeting is over.
Here to react, David Phillips, who was at that meeting, and an Alabama Republican mayoral candidate for that town, Brian Taunton. Welcome to you both, fellas. Phillip, let me start with you. You're the guy who was at that podium. You were asking questions about what's going on in town to your city council, who should be responsive to you. Why'd they cut your mic?
That's what I was wondering at the time. That was the section of the meeting that's open to public comment. So when I stepped to the mic, I had a few questions for them, and they basically shut it down, excuse me, before I could even voice really any of the questions that I had. I think it was more of the fact that they really didn't want to give the answers more than they didn't have the answers.
Okay.
As I mentioned in other statements, that's the whole point that the podium and the mic are there, is so the public can, ask the questions they have.
That's why the city council has a job, to answer questions that people in the city have. Brian, tell us about what's going on. You've got a small town there, and you've got a potential problem, it sounds like, with migrants coming in. What's going on?
Well, we do have a problem, but first I'd like to say thank you for having us here this morning to discuss this. But the problem is much bigger than we are. We're a small town of 12,000 people. And while I appreciate Dave's comment, the bottom line is this: we're not equipped to deal with this. Our city council and small town governments across the U.S. are not equipped to deal with this problem. Dave shouldn't have even had to be at that meeting to have this discussion. Our city council is not prepared to have this kind of discussion. We've all been caught flat-footed on this. And bottom line is this falls back on a failed immigration policy of the Biden-Harris administration and the failures of Alejandro Mayorkas and Homeland Security. We should not be dealing with these issues, but we're being forced to, and we simply do not have the infrastructure to support them. Right. And this is what Dave and others in our city are afraid of. These people have not been properly vetted, and they very well, I believe they are wonderful people, but many have been simply recruited into the United States by outside sources. And that comes with some major issues. But like
Yeah.
I said, we look at what's happening in America, and we don't have the resources. We're already stretched out as a small community.
Yeah, and you're asking questions that anyone would ask in their town. Things have changed.
Yes.
Why have they changed? Are we safe? What are you doing about it, City Council? I do think you're right. It's probably much more of a national issue than it is that particular City Council in your town, Alabama. We got to leave it there. Brian and David, thanks for being with us. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we reached out to that City Council for comment. We have not heard back.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.
Good old Chris Kringle on the goddamn evening news. But that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's very interesting. What's going on? What a time to be alive. Is what I might say. But yeah, hop down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. I'll be looking into a few more of these local city council meetings to see what's going on, since we can't trust the mainstream media or the fake news media in 2024. And I wish some of you would start getting some news and some information from someplace else other than CNN, MSNBC, and the Breakfast Club. Okay? Do that for me. Appreciate it. And again, smash like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It's your man online, Bill Money signing off.